what would the next one look like? 0.2222, and then 0.22222, then 0.22222. Does this one converge? Does it get closer and closer to a number? Or is it not? What number does it get closer and closer to? 0.2 repeated forever. Can you see that it gets closer to that? And do you know how to change that to a fraction? 2/9. Did you know all your numbers over 9 were decimals? Like 1/9 is 0.1 repeated, 2/9 is 0.2 repeated, which opens up a terribly fascinating fact in mathematics, which since we've got 5 minutes and want to enjoy math even more, we can look at it. So 1/9 is 0.1 repeated. 2/9 is 0.2 repeated. Dot, dot, dot. What is 9/9? 0.9 repeated. Good.
Oh, but then they ground it.
No. Okay. It's equal to 1. That is true. It is equal to 1. But if I would have asked you to begin this, and this is what I normally do, is I say which number is bigger, 0.9 repeated or 1? So most people would say 1 is bigger, right? But they're equal. 0.9 repeated is equal to 1. Now, first of all, a lot of people say, no, that's not possible. And I could say, well, the definition of a number, if two numbers are different, then there can always exist a number between them. But there is no number between 0.9 repeated and 1, so they must be the same. But you might think that's just a bunch of hand waving, and that's not really a good explanation. So I go through this pattern, and this pattern says that, well, if you follow the pattern, but this seems like a little cop-out in the end, and I would maybe argue that that's not true. So I say, well, let's prove it in a couple of other ways. What happens if I took 1/3, which is 0.33 repeated forever, right? And 1/3 again, and 1/3 again. Now, if you add this side up, obviously you get 1. But this side, if you imagine all those 3's to infinity, you never have to carry over, do you? You can always add in the columns, and there's never a problem with that, and you will get 0.9 repeated. Okay, but maybe that doesn't quite feel right yet, so let's start off assuming they're different numbers. Let's do some algebra. Let's say x is equal to 0.9 repeated. Okay? Then if you multiplied both sides of the equation by 10, you would get 9.9 repeated forever. And if on this side I subtracted my algebra side, I subtract x. On my number side, since x is 0.9 repeated, I subtract 0.9 repeated. On this side, I get 9x. On this side, I get 9, and solving for x, I get 1. But x was 0.9 repeated to start with. No, 0.2 repeated isn't equal to 0.3 because if you had all 9, 0.29 repeated, that's equal to 0.3, but 0.2 repeated is not, because it's not a 9. It doesn't go to that next number. Okay? Now, I don't recommend on your, some of you are taking grade 12 pre-calculus right now, that you decide to write all your 1s as 0.9 repeated. And on your IB exam, you're like, and my final answer, instead of writing 0.3, I'm going to write 0.29 repeated and see if they find out or not. that I'm actually right, and after I get my mark back, I'm going to challenge it. No, I wouldn't recommend doing that, but technically, these are equal. Oh no, don't do it once. I'm going to get in trouble.